Hi everyone, I have here Seneca and she is here to tell us a story today. And if you're watching the video, this is Millie.
Millie. Yes, everybody knows Millie. Okay, so I'd like to share a story about, I guess, the past few years of, my mom unfortunately passed away very quickly in 2023. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's 2026. So 2023, I was running Seneca. That's how I met you. I was doing dog training, pack walks, one-on-one, loving everything I was doing, growing a lot. Went on my first vacation. The day I left for my vacation, my mom passed away suddenly. So we had to come home really quickly, figure out next steps. Me and my mom were very, very close. Like after the last few years of some self-discovery and some therapy, I realized I was very, very codependent on my mom. And I was really, really struggling. So me and a business partner decided to open Pactin Canine together, which was incredible, still is incredible. It's still running. But over the past 6 months or so, I decided something just wasn't feeling right. Like for me, Pactin is amazing. For me, it didn't feel like it just didn't feel like that's what I wanted to be doing. And when I had left my corporate life, I had said I'm never going to go back into a brick and mortar. So Pactin was growing very big, definitely going down a path that's very successful, but not the path that I wanted to take. So it was about September. I went on a pack walk one day, and I remember just having this feeling of like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And I called my husband, and he was like, nope, I can totally see that. And within like 24 hours, I made the decision, talked to my business partner, and just said, hey, listen, like, this isn't for me. It's wonderful. Can we figure out next steps? And then in that time, I took off 8 weeks because I didn't take off any real time when my mom passed. We had her funeral, 2 funerals back to back. That was 2 weeks. And then I took 1 week off after that. So I really didn't feel like I had enough time to grieve. And I was feeling better. So I actually wanted to grieve her death in a better mindset. So I took off 8 weeks from November, December. And then I just started work again 2 weeks ago doing pack walks. So I'm just doing pack walks, one-on-one training now, and board and trains for clients.
You just want to be focused on the pack walks?
Just pack walks mainly is like my big focus. And then I offer board and trains, but very, very limited now, like not as much open to the public. Like in the past few years, I've done a lot more mentorships and workshops that I've realized I could teach people. Instead of doing the work for clients, I can teach them it and empower them. So board and trains aren't as important as I thought they once were. I think Butters was a great decision. Yeah. But it's more of dogs like Butters that, we just couldn't get past certain things. And it was, kind of looking outside the box and using food a little differently and stuff like that. So pack walks is my big focus. I love getting outside, walking with the dogs, getting them off leash, watching them be a little wild.
Yeah. So Butters is my dog, and she is insanely reactive. When I picked her up, I couldn't even look at a dog.
Yeah.
Really. And so I had no idea what to do with her. I actually brought her to a facility I forget where it was, but somewhere in Windsor, Essex. And their dog actually snipped at Butters. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
So it was in a trial session.
Okay.
And I still paid for it. But she couldn't, my dog was going so crazy that her dog, although it was a trainer's dog, she couldn't control it, and it went and corrected Butters. And I was like, I don't think this is working.
Yeah, it's Butters was such a fun dog because I remember I took her out for her first walk after I met you, and I was just boarding her. I hadn't done the board and train yet, and I was like,
before this, I was asking you about Butters, and you had no idea how bad she was, and you were like, no problem, I got it.
No problem, I got it. I took her out for a walk one day, and when she saw her first dog, the scream she let out, I was like, in Riverside, I was mortified because a bully scream that sounds like they're dying, right?
Yeah.
So I remember just grabbing a handful of food, and then I was just basket holding the food for her, and then I was like, okay, because she was one of the dogs actually that I was like, I don't use food. And then once I met Butters, I was like, why am I not using food? If this helps her feel better, Why wouldn't I help her feel better in this moment, right? So yeah, she was a cool dog. She taught me a lot.
Oh my God, the wails that come out of her.
Oh, yes.
And she's like lunging and it looks like she's like out to kill. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Just typical leash reactivity, right? It was funny because she gets along great with all my dogs, but if there's like food around or anything, and that's normal pack mentality, you got to be a little more careful about it. But yeah, I remember I have an older pack too, so they're closer to Butter's age. They got along great, but it's as soon as you kind of see that reactivity kick in, you're like, oh, right. You kind of remember that they're not just our babies, they are wild animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very fun.
Yeah. So what has the journey been like for you to work on this codependency and to get yourself?
Oh God. It was like, so when my mom first passed, I'm very spiritual. I'm very much like, or I thought I was. And I remember thinking, because I had been doing a lot of Reiki and a lot of stuff with a friend of mine who does it all. And I remember being like, when my mom passed, I'm going to be okay because I've been doing so much work on myself, right? And I was for about the first year. I kept myself very busy. I kept myself very open, allowing myself to cry. This last year is when I think I put myself kind of in like this box of like my grief should be done. So this last year, actually, it really transpired kind of odd. I started, me and my husband started couples counseling, just wanting to like talk a bit more. My husband's 5 years younger than me. He doesn't talk much. So I wanted to get, he was struggling too because he was the one who found my mom. So we were kind of at this like wall where we couldn't communicate prior to my mom's death. And then after, he was really struggling, trying to be strong for me. So it just really was a lot of like any sort of therapy, like talk therapy. My friend circle became very small by choice. I just found I love talking about my mom, but I also didn't want to put that on everybody. It's very heavy, right? So a lot of talk therapy. I started somatic therapy. I did Reiki. Anything basically that somebody suggested, I kept a very open mindset. So it felt like nothing was moving. Actually, it was wild. In the last year, I put on most of my weight gain, most like the things that I thought I had under control transpired last year. And I was kind of like very blind to it all because I was so deep in like the work that when I kind of came through, I was like, oh my gosh, like who is this person again? So just a lot of therapy, a lot of talking, and just being very aware of like what holds me back. Like I have a big ego, and I think for me at Pacton, I wanted to be the best, and I just think that it's just such a vague thing. Like there's always going to be somebody who's better. There's always going to be something else that comes out of the woodwork. So just kind of chucking that ego a bit and like starting to just kind of get my hands dirty again and focus on the dogs.
How's that going out here in Tilbury?
I love it. So this is like this house. My mom brought it to us. So we found it 3 weeks after she passed. My dad, talking about codependent, still lives with me. So he bought the house with me and my husband. My sister lives down the street. So I always joke, I'm like, oh God, please, nothing. I'm working on it. So like, God forbid. And when I do lose somebody else, because that's inevitable, I feel like I have a better, course of action. But this house is really, honestly, very magical to me, my husband. My sister was part of purchasing it. She didn't purchase it with us, but she found it and sent it to us. So we have a barn in the back. My husband just finished the flooring and stuff in it. So now I can do like some small things in there, park the cars in there to get ready for pack walks. But it really does provide me, it's further away than I'd like to be, but a beautiful park across the street, a very small town, which nobody cares that I have 7 dogs. Nobody cares that Griffin's charging the fence out there a bit at times when we're working through things. So just that really small town feel, and a house that I don't think I would have been able to find or afford in Windsor. Yeah.
And it is magical. I mean, I've only seen a part of it, but this room is incredible.
Yes. So this is my plant room. So I call it my green room. And this plant I was telling you earlier is the one that kind of started my plant journey. It's wild how my plant journey happened because my mom had 2 plants. she left behind. No one had any clue about them. Her friend was like, somebody's got to take these plants. And I was like, plants? Like, my mom can't keep plants alive. But they were sitting in her bay window for like 20 years. She had brought them from the Sioux when we moved up here 25, 30 years ago now. And it just kind of transpired. Like, I can focus. I come in here. I just, spend time with the plants and my mind's a bit clearer. And I just took one hobby and started. So yeah, lots of plants, lots of propagating. It feels very cool to be able to keep them alive and, change, like repot them and kind of just see them come to life and stuff like that. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can see that you love taking care of plants, dogs, other things. Lately, what are you doing for yourself?
Lots of meditating. So I actually, over the past, like most women, I think our age, we all feel like we have ADHD, but I actually did get diagnosed and get some medication for it, which at the same time, I took those few weeks off, or 8 weeks off from starting work again. So I've been in a completely different mindset. So meditating is something I always loved doing. I really couldn't shut my brain off to do it. So I do a lot of meditating. I actually have a room about a quarter of this size off my bedroom that I've built as another plant room and another like meditation room. That's where I kind of keep my crystals and my tarot cards and all my fun stuff like that. And I just spend a lot of time now, like focusing on my dogs, getting out and walking, and then taking my time to I've started doing Pilates. I work out from time to time. We have a garage gym in the back, and just really kind of enjoying my home life.
Yeah.
Billy. That's it. That's all she wants to be. That's it. Right there. She's 11 or 10. She's my oldest dog. Yeah. My oldest and my most naughty.
Yeah, because everyone else listened and they're still in their place.
Exactly. And she just wanders out whenever she wants. But she's our longest dog. We got her right after we got married. And she's had it's called IVDD. So long dogs can get it in their backs. She's had that since she was 3, but she's like a wild. She'll kill like bats and squirrels. And
yeah,
she's wild. Yeah. She's really cool.
She seems so timid.
She's not. I'm pretty sure she had a good standoff with Butters one time and Butters backed down. Every dog backs down to Millie.
Really? Yeah. That's so funny.
It's funny because she's pretty, like, she just knows, she's very confident. Yeah.
The pack dynamics of dogs are so interesting to me because when I also brought Butters to a place in Toronto.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
And I think because there were so many dogs, she just calmed down. Like totally. She just fell into the pack, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That is, if you have a solid pack, that's how it can work. So like when I first started pack walking, I found it very challenging because my dogs weren't balanced at all. So now that my dogs, Gemma, she's my lab that looks a lot like Butters, she is kind of my most balanced dog. And if I'm ever having a struggle with a dog, I'll kind of bring her around. But yeah, if you kind of bring a dog in who's a bit unbalanced and you put them with a balanced crew, they kind of just fall into that pack dynamic pretty quickly, right? The biggest thing is like, and I think humans, they're our babies and they are so cute, right? But we really misunderstand a lot of their communication, right? And I think that was what happened with me early on. And I think any trainer, walker, whatever, is you see like a stiff body and you see a wagging tail and you're like, they're happy, right? And then the fight breaks out and you're like, what just happened there? So it's just kind of like, dogs really do work on spatial pressure. That's how they communicate. If they come up to you, Millie, like she put a ton of pressure on you. She wanted affection and you gave it to her, right? If you put her down, she would just keep adding that pressure back until she got what she wanted. So dogs do the same thing when they're not enjoying each other's space. You'll kind of see like 2 dogs standing with their heads over each other. And a lot of people are like, let them figure it out. And it's like, well, they can't because they're so spun in our world now. Like our world is just so busy, so fast. And they just need a little bit more guidance than what they did 20, 30 years ago. Yeah.
So how did you work on balancing out your pack?
Dog walking. So that's really, and that was something even my husband brought back up when I was talking. The best way to build a relationship is through the leash. I have a love-hate relationship with a dog leash because I find, nothing wanted to come into this world and be on 6 feet for the rest of their lives. But we also live in a community that doesn't allow off leash and stuff like that. So I totally understand. And if you can work through a lot of your stuff on that 6 foot, 10 foot leash, whatever it is you're working on, you can start to kind of mend that relationship. So when I started, my dogs couldn't even walk on leash. Gemma was running away from me. My mom was actually gonna, when I started my business, she was like, you just drop your dogs off to me, because she lived in Tecumseh and I was in Riverside, and you take training dogs. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because who's going to trust a trainer that doesn't have well-trained dogs, right? So I just started working on Gemma, Jax, not Millie as much. And I remember people would always be like, where's Millie? She's so bad, probably on the table. But Gemma and Jax, I just started really walking off leash with them. And then I did do a lot of e-collar work, so electronic leash work, so allowing a dog to move a bit away from me, but then hear their tone on their e-collar to come back. So just getting them off leash in proper areas, allowing them, you know, I remember I just moved to Riverside and I was new to the neighborhood, and I had a bunch of ducks come into my backyard. And this was before my dogs were trained. And they were all hunting these ducks. And I was like, oh my God, no. Like I wasn't even a trainer yet, but I sure as heck wasn't going to let my dogs eat ducks or kill them or whatever. So anyways, I let them out. And I was like, screw it, I'll let Jax out because he's got the best recall that I thought. My gosh, they were running up and down the streets. I was meeting the neighbors. And they're like, ask me what I do for work. I'm like, I'm an aspiring dog trainer. You know, so it was one of those moments where I was like, I really needed to get their recall in check. You know, I did not want them to be hit by a road. We lived right off Jefferson. So, and then once I kind of put, like my fear of like different tools away and started doing some research on them and mentorships and stuff like that, I started to realize how beneficial like the electronic collar could be, for so many different things, but for my dogs, mainly to get them off leash or on a long line so that they could kind of fulfill themselves a bit more. Yeah.
And there's a lot of negativity around e-collars.
Yes.
But the way that you use it, like they don't even get the shock sometimes, right?
No.
It's just like the tone that they hear, and
totally. And I will say, like, it's definitely it's definitely positive punishment, right? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's, you know, it's a touch from afar. It is a touch from afar, but it is positive punishment as well. But it's all how you use it. So, you know, like I just started the Husky. I just started e-collar training him. His working level was 4. Like you wouldn't even feel that on your hand. But what it does allow for is a dog like Butters or even Griffin, my big shepherd out front. It allows for a dog who gets so overstimulated so quickly. You can kind of find, so like Butters, for example, you might be tapping her at 50. She doesn't feel it because her stress level or arousal or whatever it is up here. Yeah. So it's just like I always say to people, it's like a TENS machine. So, you know, when you first lay down, they tell me when you can feel it. And I'm like, I can't feel it. My back is so tight. They come back 15 minutes later. My back's like itchy and shaking. And it's because I'm looser. It's the same thing with dogs. So if those go in the wrong hands, for sure, you know, even if we're not trying to be mean, if you don't understand the technology and you don't want to understand it, then it's not the right tool. But it can be really this fascinating thing that, like, you know, if Jax, because Jax has a lot of separation anxiety for me. So if Jax kept crawling in here, I could give him a few taps and send him back. And he understands I'm still right here. So we'll even use it for dogs who may be struggling crates and stuff like that from separation. It's like I teach them that pressure means connection. So when I'm tapping you from afar, I'm right here. But yes, it can be used as a correction as well. I'm not going to pretend it's not, but when used properly, like I think my dogs, like I would give a correction to a dog running across the street who's going to be hit by a car. But it's definitely all how they're used. And you got to know, I've done a lot of training in the past 4 years, like mentorships, you know, understanding drives for dogs and understanding like everything about that. And there's still times where I'm like, you know, I just have a client right now. I'm like, let's take it off. Let's go for an e-collar break for a week. We can still do everything we're going to do. Let's just give it a break and like recondition. Right. Yeah.
And for example, for your dogs, it has led to them having more freedom. And
more freedom. And being able to, like, you know, when you first met me, I only had 3 dogs. Maybe I just got Griffin, but they couldn't be around your dogs. They couldn't be around, not until Butters did her board and train, which was multiple times after she boarded with me. The first few times they couldn't be around dogs. They were so stressed around other dogs. They just didn't understand how to be a dog because I had kept them so sheltered for so long. So it allows them to do things like come and be on a pack walk. But Jax doesn't like being around other dogs, but he can go on a 8-foot lead and he can walk further away from them, right? So it's opened up a lot of opportunities for them for sure. Yeah.
Are you accepting new dogs? What's your business structure like?
So my pack walks are full, but I have a wait list that there's always opportunity. But currently they're full. Most of my original clients came back for those spots. But I am offering, accepting clients for one-on-one dog training, dog walks, and board and trains.
Can you do one-on-one dog training virtually, or do they have to be in the area?
Yeah, and I do it virtually as well. Yeah. Okay. Virtually is a really nice option, especially if, I have a lot of clients that are nervous about their dogs at first, right? So just kind of getting a gauge of where their dog is at. I don't need to always be there, Sometimes it's 90% of the time, it's the relationship between the dog and the owner. Not necessarily good or bad. It's just there's that opportunity. So me just kind of seeing what they do, I don't have to be there. If a dog comes here and claims space, like if Millie was Griffin, my big shepherd, this would be problematic because he claims space and he takes space up and he's massive. And then you take this energy and you put it out there guarding the world, it's very problematic. So if like I was to sit down virtually with a client and their dog comes and claims space and they tell me their walks are struggling, I can already see maybe why. It's not the end of it all. It's just there's a whole bunch of things that I don't necessarily need to be in the house to be like, show me what it looks like, right? Like, what are we walking our dog on? A flat collar, maybe. Flat collars are fine. It's just where all the pressure is. They're so strong by their neck, right? So virtually is a really nice option, especially now kind of where I'm at with experience-wise that, you can get a lot done through a virtual session, go out and practice it all, come back and kind of do it again before we start to get hands-on. Yeah.
And then would that start with a consult? Or?
Yeah. So I do meet and greets for free, virtually for free. If somebody wants me to come to the house, I do offer, it's a $50 charge, but if they decide to take a service with me, that just goes into their first service. Just for like travel wise. When I used to be in Windsor, I used to do free ones all the time. Fortunately, gas and everything is so expensive now. So it's just travel point wise. But yeah, I do free meet and greets virtually. And then if you want me in the house to do a consult, it's $50 to start. Oh, you're silly.
What a queen.
You're silly. She's such a baby. Oh, Millie.
I have to meet all your dogs later.
Oh my gosh. They would, those two are probably just waiting.
I'm really surprised that you're fostering.
Yes.
Because it would be a foster fail.
Honestly, it would have been. I have 7 dogs. Cassidy was my number 7. He was a foster. He was my foster fail. He's got such a big bite history under his belt. He's never bitten me. He's never tried my husband. My dad can move him around now. So I have him in the spot that I just go, he's 6. Let's just let him live the rest of his life. He's wonderful with us. He sleeps like a baby. He loves us crate. He's going to be a hard one because my husband was like, oh, we could keep him. And I was like, honestly, no. Like I would love to, but he's just such a good dog that I can find him a good home. And that's the thing. It's like, I have a lot of behavioral cases like him, my dog Gertie, who's upstairs. They're behavioral cases. So they have, potential bites. They're feral. So when it comes to that situation, I'm like, you're kind of stuck with me forever. And I'm okay with that because he's moved to a bunch of different places and every time he goes, he bites somebody. And it's just that thing. He's very misunderstood. He comes up very wiggly, very anxious. All he wants to do is sniff you, but everybody touches him and then he nips them to say back off. But because he's created that loop so many times, it's just like, why put him back in that position?
Yeah, and he's a bigger dog, so people see that. They're
and
like,
honestly, like that's the thing. It's like you get so many bites with these dogs, you have to make a decision to put them down, right? And that's
if it was this dog biting.
No, she doesn't even have all her teeth anymore. She wouldn't even care. Like I had a foster that I unfortunately had to put down last January. So I think that that's really changed my perception on it all. Is that like I thought I could save them all, and you know, it's challenging. So Rowdy, we had to make the decision last year to put him down, unfortunately, but he was starting to bite. My dad really liked him, so my dad was like, I'll kind of take care of him if you get me all the stuff I need to. But he could break out of every crate, like he was digging out of the gates. He was in the basement. He dug through a wood door. It's just like, if I can't make that work and you're living such a hard life, you know, it's just not fair.
What do you have planned for the future?
For personal, business, a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
I am going to run the half marathon this year.
Okay.
That is
the
my
one
plan.
in Windsor?
I actually would like to do both. Yeah.
Okay. You know, so, Detroit is
it sold out already? I put the reminder on my phone for January 1st, and I just was talking to my girlfriend. So I'm going to do the Windsor one. Every year I plan to do the Detroit one, and I don't get in. So the Windsor one for sure. I had signed up last year. I've been saying for, I think it was since 2021 that I was going to run a half marathon. Yeah? I've been preparing every year. And then my mom's death really I just kind of put it, I was running a lot, but just mainly so that I could enjoy my food. I was like, I'm going to run. So the food was my comfort. Right. But this year, last year, I wasn't prepared for it. So I just apparently donated to it and didn't end up running it, which is okay.
Yeah. But worse comes to worse, you can go and walk.
That's true.
Right.
Yes, that's true. And that's my plan this year. It's been I love running. It's the one thing that like calms my mind, really calms it. And like, I've been able to get up to, like 2 summers ago, I was running like 15, 16 kilometers at a time. So I was very, very close to that half marathon. And then last year with my weight gain, I very much struggled to get back out running. So that is my plan. So the husky is going to be my running partner for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And then for work, I want to focus on not overloading my plate. I'm really, really bad at, like, if somebody reaches out and is like, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, I can help you. And I think that's a lot of people, but so I was signed up to do doggy daycare on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm going to run one program in Tilbury starting February 10th for 6 weeks, and then I'm going to end it. And then I had another one running in Tecumseh at my parents' house. My dad was letting me use his house to pick up some dogs, do some pack walk training. So I just started that last week, and I remembered why I didn't like doing it. And it was perfect because my dad is very strong and silent. So I got in the house and I was like, whoa, what's happening? He's like, I'm painting it. I'm getting ready to sell it because we've had it since my mom passed. And I was like, this is a little bit, you told me you were patching up a few holes and there's, plastic everywhere. I was like, oh, Dad, I can't have dogs here when you're doing this. So it was one of those things the universe is very good at reminding me of what I've said I wasn't going to do. So I'm going to finish these 6 weeks with these 2 dogs, get them into their pack walks and start them in March on pack walks. And then I'm done. I said I'm not doing any more daycares, nothing like that. I just really don't like that tied down feeling. Yeah.
You being tied down while they're there with you.
Yeah, because you get a dog that sometimes struggles in a crate or struggles on walks, and you're kind of stuck in that spot for the day. And then that energy goes to all the other dogs. So when one dog struggles, they all struggle. And I find inside a home or inside 4 walls, it really adds a lot of stress to them, especially if it's a new space, right? So you're just kind of asking a lot out of these dogs when in reality, we could just get them out on a walk together and you're probably going to see a big difference in them, right? So that's what I'm focusing on, is just getting these dogs out moving, 1 or 2 dogs at a time I'm taking, and we're just going out walking and having fun.
So if people want to find out more about you and learn about the dog training, where can they find you?
My Instagram. I also have all of my stuff. I'm currently building it on Jotform I'm using. I have all of my booking. So right on my Instagram in my bio, if they click the link there, I have an app that they can go on. They can fill out a form to get to know me. They could do a meet and greet. All my information is on there for them.
And what's your Instagram?
Oh, good question. Good dog. Seneca Good Dog.
Okay. And I'll confirm that, and then we'll put that in the show link.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast.